This week on Life in the Park, after listening to you, Council will plan next steps for plastic bags in the park, and STEP is collecting warm winter coats now, plus more news you can use.
Welcome to this week's edition of Life in the Park. I'm Scott Smith. In our cover story, the St. Louis Park Police Department is in the midst of a campaign to increase crosswalk safety. Beginning in 2014, signs have been set up as strategic crosswalks to remind motorists to stop for pedestrians crossing in crosswalks and intersections. Both pedestrians and motorists need to be more aware of each other and the right-of-way for the safety of everyone. That's coming up. But first, here's news you can use. The St. Louis Park City Council and Sustainability SLP met with residents and business owners for a listening session about the future of single-use plastic bags in the park.
But as the Minnesota Pollution Control Board told you earlier this summer, when considering St. Louis Park's environmental policy, it's important not just to focus on the end of the life of a product, but also at the beginning. So what is the beginning of a plastic bag? First of all, let me dispel one of the great myths about plastic bags. They're not made from oil, not one drop. Rather, they're made from a byproduct of natural gas, a byproduct which, but for the plastics industry, would be flared off.
For me, what we really need to be doing as a community is encouraging reusable options and reuse of single-use bags, whether it's as trash can liners or as additional shopping bags.
Not every good idea needs to be a law or an ordinance or a regulation. And any ordinance or regulation that has a long list of exceptions shouldn't be a law.
By me ordering 12,000 bags, I save the equivalent of 12 trees, 13,000 gallons of water, 100 cars off the road a day, and the energy enough to supply 50 homes for a day and 1,100 pounds of garbage.
Most of what business owners have said is I don't disagree with anything. We just basically want our consumers to come in and have a choice if they want a bag or not. It impacts convenience and choice, so that's it.
We have received a number of written comments up to this point and expect that we will continue to receive those comments, and those are very helpful from our perspective in making good policy choices and decisions for the city, so please keep those coming.
Council's next steps include discussing policy recommendations and public input in a study session in October, with a final decision expected in November. The general election for St. Louis Park Mayor, 2 council members, and 4 school board offices isn't until November 3rd, but absentee voting will be available beginning September 18th. Details are available on the city website, stlouispark.org. Click on the Elections tab. Well, November also means winter jackets, and STEP, the St. Louis Park Emergency Program, is collecting clean, warm winter coats and accessories to provide for our St. Louis Park neighbors in need. Coats will be available to guests in October. However, due to space limitations, it is requested that collected items be delivered to STEP in September on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesdays, noon to 8 p.m., and on Fridays, 8 a.m. until noon. STEP is located at 6812 West Lake Street. Needed coats and jackets include infant, toddler, children, teen, adult, and adult plus sizes. Accessories especially needed in all sizes are boots, gloves, mittens, and snow pants. For additional information, please call Allison at 952-925-4899 extension 11 or email Allison at step.org. Please only winter warm coats, no lightweight jackets or vests. Step to Inspire is a 5K run, walk, roll with shorter courses available that raises funds and awareness for Park Nicolet's award-winning Inspire program. Money raised supports vital programs addressing the emotional and psychological aspects of a long-term recovery from stroke and brain injury. The event is on Saturday, September 19th at 9:30 a.m. in Wolf Park. To register, go to parknicolet.com and click on Events. The City of St. Louis Park is redesigning the city website, stlouispark.org, and would like your input. Please take a moment to share your feedback on how we can improve the updated site through our online survey at slpmn.us/website. The City of St. Louis Park will be holding an open house to discuss improvements to Bass Lake Preserve and the surrounding watershed. The goal of this project is to improve the aesthetics, but also create a long-term management plan. Earlier this year, the city completed the first phase of a vegetation management plan and has been developing plans to clear open water areas. The purpose of this meeting is to present the plans to be included in an Environmental Assessment Worksheet, or EAW, before this document is submitted to state agencies for review. This meeting will be an opportunity to hear from environmental professionals from Bar Engineering and Great River Greening who helped the city draft this document and find out more about the impact and goals of this project. We want to hear from you. If you're unable to attend the public meeting and would like to learn more or add comments, email us at pelkin@stlouispark.org or call Philip Elkin or Eric Francis at 952-924-2656. And now to our cover story. Crosswalk safety issues have long troubled many communities, including ours. The St. Louis Park Police Department is in the midst of a campaign to increase crosswalk safety across the city. Beginning in 2014, signs have been set up at strategic crosswalks to remind motorists to stop for pedestrians crossing in crosswalks and intersections, with encouraging results. However, the growing number of bicyclists, new bike lanes, and expanding trail system have seen an increase in uncertainty about who should stop or yield or proceed through the intersection. Park TV and the St. Louis Park Police Department have created videos to simplify and increase crosswalk safety. Here is part one of the series.
The city's going on with its second year of this campaign. The city, to address the concern, was a three-pronged approach. There was an educational campaign, experimentation with additional tools the city had access to, and additional enforcement activity by us, the police, at targeted intersections.
Primarily, we were getting a lot of complaints from citizens about problems at crosswalks. And so we took a collaborative approach and got together with several different departments within the city to work on this problem. And we started out actually finding out where the most heavy usage of crosswalks were, and we started there.
The importance of the campaign is obviously to keep everybody safe in the city. Us as a police department collaborate with other city departments to make this initiative work and flow seamlessly. We want to just get the word out there to the community that safety is our number one concern, obviously, and any opportunity we get with citizen contacts during our targeted activities, more educate them and make them aware of the crosswalks and what the laws are for the pedestrians and conversely, for the bicyclers as well, so they know what to do and what's expected of them while occupying the streets.
If we get complaints from citizens or from drivers of issues, we'll address those first, and then we try to, on a weekly basis, just move it around the city and go from spot to spot where, and where there's heavy traffic and the crosswalks are utilized. So it starts out mostly with complaints and where citizens would wish that we would address.
Market changes we've seen as a police department is big decrease in citizen complaints. The targeted intersections that we've paid attention to and have implemented this approach, the complaints haven't been as circular or as repetitive. They've literally died in the vine. So that speaks to what we're doing is working, and being responsive to the citizens' needs, their complaints, and providing a quality service that's taking care of the problem.
Campaign's going very well. We purchased some new equipment, so we're addressing more intersections this year. We have more signs out there, but it's going really well.
Changes or implementations that change from our marquee year, the initial year that started, has been additional equipment. I know the civil engineering department has gotten their hands on traffic tubes that are quite handy in getting the flow speeds of traffic at different areas of the city, ones with crosswalks and such. We've also implemented, us as a department, the police department, that is a new field-based reporting system that's helping us better track activity in those specific targeted areas as well.
The big thing is that for drivers is to scan ahead of them, to look in both directions, look, and when they see pedestrians, see what their intent is. If it looks like they're ready to cross the street, that they're watching for them and that they slow down and make sure they stop so that the pedestrian can cross. When you're making a turn, make sure you're looking in all directions. When you're backing, make sure you look at what's happening behind you so that you're aware of where any citizen may be.
Pointers for pedestrians in the city, whether you're a resident or a visitor passing through. If you're going to walk at night especially, wear lighter colored clothing if not reflective clothing. Before crossing and marked crosswalks or at intersections, make sure you make your intent known to oncoming vehicles. Just don't dart out into the street and possibly, hurt yourself as well as the drivers. And lastly, when crossing the streets, use the marked crosswalks, use the intersections, and be mindful and obey the traffic signals and signs.
Part 2 will simplify who has the right-of-way, especially at trail crossings. A lot of misinformation exists, and we'll get it straightened out when Part 2 is completed. Remember, you can keep up to date in the park by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/St. Louis Park, or check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/St. Louis Park. That's it for this week's edition of Life in the Park. Thanks for watching. Join us next week for another edition of Life in the Park, right here on Park TV.
Hello, I'm Greg Feinberg, interpretive naturalist at Westwood Hills Nature Center. This fall, come celebrate with costumes and characters at Westwood Hills Nature Center's family-friendly Halloween party. The Nature Center is filled with indoor and outdoor games, activities, and theme trails. You can visit with friendly animal characters as you walk through the lit Mother Nature's trail. For those who are more adventurous, dare to play mystery mini golf in the dark woods. There's something for everyone, including music and refreshments. Wear your costumes, join the fun, October 16th and 17th, 6:30 to 9 p.m.